Assalamualaikum. My name is Mama Arief bin Helmy Murad. I am group 4 and I will talk about Hikmah of Fasting. Firstly, what is the meaning of fasting in Islam? Fasting is to abstain from eating, drinking, and desire from behavior from the fajr until dusk with correct intention or niyat. Fasting is also one of the pillars of Islam, which is a fasting in the month of Ramadan every year, and it is obligatory for all Muslims to do it. From ayat Quran Surah Al-Baqarah 185, meaning the month of Ramadan is that in which was revealed in the Quran a guidance for the people and clear proof of guidance and criterion. So whoever sights the new moon of the month, let him fast it, and whoever is ill or on a journey, then an equal number of other days. Allah intends for you is and does not intend for your hardship and wants for you to complete the period and the glorify for that to which He has guided you, and perhaps you will be grateful. Fasting also have been decreed to the people in the past. Ayat from Quran Surah Al-Baqarah 180. "O you have believed, decreed upon you is fasting as was decreed upon those before you. You may become righteous." From this verse, we understand that the ultimate goal of fasting is to develop taqwa, which means being conscious of Allah in all aspects of life. Hikmah of fasting. Firstly, it develops taqwa or God consciousness. One of the greatest wisdoms of fasting is that it trains us to be aware of Allah at all times. While fasting, we refrain from eating and drinking, even when we are alone and no one is watching us. This shows sincerity or ikhlas because only Allah knows whether we truly fast or not. Through fasting, we learn that obedience to Allah is not based on public observation but on inner faith. This constant awareness helps us avoid sins not only during Ramadan but also outside of the Ramadan. Second, strengthening relationship with Allah. Fasting strengthens our personal connection with Allah because it is an act of worship done solely for His sake. The time spent fasting encourages more dua, more Quran recitation, and more zikr. The dua of a fasting person is especially powerful. This closeness makes us feel more dependent on Allah and increase humility in our hearts. Spiritual benefit in fasting. First involves empathy. Emphasize empathy and compassion for those who frequently experience hunger and poverty. During fasting, we experience what it's like to be hunger for a long time and realizing the poor people experience every day. In Hadith say, he is not believer who goes to sleep while his belly is full, while his neighbor goes hungry. This makes us feel grateful for what we have and have compassion to help and ease people burden by donating some wealth to buy basic food and necessities for them to survive. This is supported by Hadith Prophet Muhammad SAW has said, "Whoever feeds a fasting person will earn the same reward as him without diminishing in any way of the reward of the fasting person." The wisdom strengthens the bond of the brotherhood and sisterhood in the Ummah and reminds us that Islam is not only about individual worship but also social responsibility. Second point is weaken the nafs. Nafs is a part of the person that drives them to act their desires. Nafsu getting source of strength by eating and drinking. This makes us give in to nafsu very easily. Conclusion is that depriving physical body food and drink weaken the nafsu and thus its ability to invite the individual to evil and sin also weakens. This is brought by hadith. O young people, whoever is able to marry, let him marry. For indeed marriage lowers to gaze and protects the private parts. Whoever is unable to do so, let him fast. For fasting is a barrier for him from lust. When physical desires are controlled, the heart becomes softer and more receptive to guidance. It also encourages us to guard our control our speech from gossip and lies, control our desires from haram, and control anger from envy and hate. Thus, fasting is not only physical abstinence but also spiritual cleansing and protect us from sinful behavior and weak character. In conclusion, fasting is not merely about feeling hungry or thirsty. Its hikmah is deeply connected to building a taqwa, strengthening our relationship with Allah, and developing empathy, and finally weaken the nafs. If we fast with proper intention and understanding, fasting can transform our character and faith, not only Ramadan but through our lives.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zakwan Yusof from Group 4, and I'm gonna share a bit about how fasting can benefit us in terms of our physical and health. Firstly is body detoxification. When we're fasting, it can help support our body natural cleansing process. Our liver and kidneys, which are responsible for removing waste from the blood, are able to work more efficiently when they are not constantly processing new food. During this time, the body also clears out damaged cells and old waste materials, helping to maintain a healthier internal system. Secondly, it can improve our digestion. So when we're fasting, it gives our digestive organs, such as our stomach and intestines, an opportunity to rest. This rest period can improve digestion once normal eating resumes. Fastings may also support our heart health by reducing strain on the body and helping to maintain uh, healthy blood pressure. Overall, when practiced in a safe and balanced way, fasting can help our organs functions more effectively. One more thing to add, fasting can also aid us in our weight loss. So when we're fasting, it can help our body use the stored fat as our source of energy. So when food intake is paused, the body relies less on sugar and more on fat, which can contribute to weight reduction. So fasting can also help regulate blood sugar levels and reducing the likelihood of excess fat storage. So overall, fasting does not only benefit us in terms of our spiritual and moral or hikmah, it can also benefit us in many ways regarding in our physical and also mental in some way. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Now, I will talk about two more facts about Hikmah of Fasting. I will talk about in terms of character development and how fasting promotes equality in a society. First, fasting in terms of character development, fasting is not just about staying hungry or thirsty. It is a powerful training for our self-discipline. When we are fasting, we learn to control our desire. We learn to control our mouth from speaking bad word or to do or in even we are control ourselves from doing a bad action that can be benefit to since um, this process builds a stronger defense on ourselves. It builds a strong moral character for us, give us character of patience, honesty, humility, and respect. And another fact is that fasting makes us it teaches us self-control. Why? Because when we are fasting, we are just with ourselves. We are definitely not being guided by others. And when we are not watching, a person remain obedient, even though he can just still eating for to fulfill his hunger, and this creates integrity to the person. Why? Because It brings that even there are no one watching, he knows that Allah is watching him. Over time, this discipline carries into his life and is shaping the person to become someone who is trustworthy and morally responsible. And another aspect is that fasting makes everyone equal. Why? Because when we are fasting, doesn't mean that if we are rich, we are poor, we have the status of a king or royal, we are still needed to fast. Why? Because Allah commands all of the human to fast, not just someone who is poor. And this experience created empathy among the higher people. Why? Because they feels the hunger, they feel that they need to control themselves, and this understanding encourage them to become more generous. Why? Because they have once facing the struggle of thirsty hunger, and this will make them become more generous in doing charity and more in social responsibility. Therefore, it is a bridge to connect heart and remove social barriers. In conclusion, fasting is not just a ritual, it is a system that produces individuals with strong character and society upon equality, respect, and compassion. That's all from our group. Thank you.